Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video we are going to look at how to implement Azure Load Balancer, the standard version of it. This is an important part of Azure Labs. These particular labs series that we have been doing, they're all available on the GitHub from Microsoft Learning. And this is AZ300 Microsoft Azure Architect Technologies. This version is actually changing, and you will soon, or right now you can actually take the AZ303 exam, which is going to be replacing 300, but this lab is still valid. So if you're looking for a lab for practicing, this would be a good lab to get some hands-on on how to configure the Azure Load Balancer. So let's see how much we can accomplish in this lab. So we have two different objectives. So first of all, we have a corporation at a time. They wants to implement this Azure Load Balancer Standard to direct inbound and outbound traffic to Azure Virtual Machine. Okay. So two different objectives: implement an inbound load balancing by using Azure Load Balancer Standard, and configure outbound SNAT traffic by using Azure Load Balancer Standard as well. This is going to be a little bit long lab. It's going to be probably going to take about 45 minutes to complete. So let's get started. So the first thing, we are going to do several different steps, okay, to implement the inbound load balancing and NAT, network access translation, by using Azure Load Balancer Standard. So what are the things that we're going to do? We're going to deploy a virtual VM availability set by using Azure Resource Manager template. So why do you think we need availability set? Because if there's only one VM, where are you going to distribute your load? So within availability set, you can have multiple VMs deployed, and then you can use your load balancer to distribute traffic. Okay, once we have done that, we are going to create an instance of Azure Load Balancer Standard. We're going to configure the load balancing rule. We're going to configure NAT rules, and at the end we're going to test the functionality of the load balancer that we have created. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to the portal, okay, and we're going to create a resource group, and we're going to create the resource group using our CLI command. And for this lab, I'm going to use the East US as the resource location. Okay, so let's go over to the lab. Okay, and to get to your cloud cell, you just click on this icon, and that should open up. If it opens the PowerShell one, click on this one and go back to your bash, because for this particular lab we're going to use the bash commands to create resource group and things like that. Like over here, what we are running is CLI command, AZ group create, name, the name of our resource group, and location, and I'm going to say this is East US. That's the location that I like the most anyway. So you see this is successful, so we should have a resource group name AZ300 A01 lab RGA at this time. So we're done with that. So for this deployment, we're going to use ARM template for the VMSs, for the deployment of the availability set. Okay, so to do that, you need to get a couple of files. So let copy this one and put it here just to remember what file to get to. Let's see, so most of the time when you deploy stuff, you will have a file that will be a deploy file, and you will also have a parameter file where you can have additional parameters that you are passing to your deployment. Okay, so let's get those two files. So actually I'm going to copy all of it so I know exactly how to browse to that particular folder. Okay, so let's copy, and I just need, actually it's already here, all files. Okay, so that's all I need. So to get to those files, you just go up in here, go back to the top level folder, Okay, so all files, and now you know that you gotta go to 300T03. So 300T03 module 3, under here module 3. So here you have a whole bunch of files in here. So what I'll do, actually I'll just click this one, say raw, and this one is the 801. So I'm gonna save this page as 300, is it 300 GitHub, and then save, and I'm gonna come back one more, module 3, and I need the parameters file. I'm 801 parameter, this is the file I think I would need. So again, go raw and save, and save. So hopefully I have both of these files available to me now. So let's now go back to our lab. Okay, go to the root from instructions, and we are working on the load balancer lab. So what we need to do, we need to upload these two files in our cloud shell environment. So to do that, you will just come over here, click on the upload download button, click on upload, and we're gonna go to 300 this and 801 and parameters. So it doesn't matter which one you upload first. So that's parameters I can upload first. It says upload is complete, and then similarly I'll just upload, pick up the other one, it should say upload complete. Yeah, both of them are done. So now I have both of the files available in this particular bash environment. Okay, excuse me. So is it deployment group create? Now this is gonna be the deployment of the ARM template, and we just need to run this nice command, and it will take care of the deployment. Now one thing, notice over here, when you are specifying the template file, you are just saying dash dash template dash file, okay, and then the file name. When you are passing the parameters, look, you have dash dash parameters, but you do have the file name, but at the beginning of the file you have a @ symbol added. So note that. So there could be questions related to this, or just for your own understanding when you're doing your own stuff, don't forget that @ symbol when you are writing your own commands. Okay, now if I click on this, it says running. That means my deployment has started, and it will take probably a few minutes. Sometimes the lab will say how long it will take. So it says it might take about 10 minutes. So I'm going to pause the video, and I'll be back in a couple of seconds, because I am not going to record anything for the next 10 minutes. Alright, I'm back. It's been a while, and I just took a break and coming back. So let's see if we have everything under this particular resource group. So all I need to do, copy this resource group, go to my Azure environment, and I'm going to go to the resource group, filter by name. This resource group, I think I got it. So in this resource group, if I look at it, looks like I got all the resources that I need, and it says my deployment is successful. So I know that the deployment that I started a little bit ago, that was successful, and I have all the resources that I need to move forward with the lab. So let's go back in here and see what else do we need to configure. So next we need to create an instance of the Azure Load Balancer. Okay, let's take a little bit of time to look at what kind of resources we have available within our resource group. So as I said, we have an availability set, and it looks like we have NIC1, NIC2, two network interface cards. There is a VM0, and most likely NIC1, NIC0 is associated with that. We got a disk for the virtual machine. We have VM1, and for the VM1 we have a disk and as well. Then we have one virtual network, and we have one network security group. So if you look at the network security group, most likely if you go to the network interface, both interfaces are associated with this network security group, which is good. And let's look at the virtual network and see if we have any subnets where we have deployed. So if we go in here, looks like we have actually three different subnets. We have a web subnet, we have an application subnet, and we have a database subnet as well. All right, 10.0.0.0.0, 10.0.1.0, 10.0.2.0. Last thing that we want to take a quick look at is also the availability set, and just see what do we have. So we have two different virtual machines, okay, and if you look at it, they are distributed in a way, the fault domain and update domain for these two machines, they should not match, okay. So we have this machine which is running, and we have another machine which is part of a different fault domain and different update domain that are also running within this availability set, okay. So looks like everything looks pretty good. So let's come back to the lab, and now we're gonna create a load balancer. Again, load balancer creation is pretty easy. So we're gonna search for a new load balancer, okay. So over here, search for the load balancer, and where is my load balancer? Load balancers, okay. So click on load balancer, and again, experience is exactly the same. So you click on add, and what we'll do, we'll configure the way we have the instructions in the lab. So we'll copy this one, resource group. Let me see, is that we'll just see. No, load balancer. It looks like it could be the same resource group. We'll know in just in a second. Yeah, so resource already exists. So this is the same resource group. So within this one, we're gonna select that one, and region type SKU. So let's go over here. Name, region is good. Type is public, okay. So type public, and then SKU standard that's what we said that we're gonna do. Your standard load balancer. So if you look at it, standard load balancers is secure by default. So that's a cool feature, that this means network security group are used to explicitly permit and whitelist allowed traffic. If you do not have an NSGF subnet or NIC of your virtual machine resource, traffic is not allowed to reach this resource. Please configure an NSG to ensure communication is needed. So that's a really great feature, right? Over here, public IP address, create new, and this is the public IP address that we want to configure. So let's come over here, public IP address, create new. This is the name of the public address that we want to create, and I think they said zone redundant is what we want for this machine. So the only thing that I think that I'm missing right now that is still required is the name of this machine, and we're gonna use, load balancer, this is the name we're gonna use right there. Alrighty, so I think we have got everything that we needed. Create load balancer, okay, yeah. So to create the load balancer, okay, so just review and create, and hit create. So that should be creating your load balancer. So once your load balancer is available to you, then you can assign some rules, okay. This one I don't think it's going to take too long. Yeah, it's done. So wow, this still says your deployment is underway, and this one says it's all done. So let's see who is right. So go there. It looks like it's already available to me. So in this one, we gotta configure our next thing, which is a load balancing rule. Okay, so usually what you have a backend pool, and you have let's see, front end. So front end pool. So you load balance between your backend and your front end stuff. Okay. So what we need to do, we are going to go to the black and blue and we're going to add a rule. Okay, so let's come over here. So if you see over here, there's a front end IP address. Okay, so let's see, backend pool. Okay, so let's click on backend pool. We have nothing designed, so let's click on this and let's do it slowly and understand what we are doing. So name BE means backend pool is what we're gonna create, and the virtual network is gonna be VNet 3.0. There is only one virtual network available, I think. Yeah, so you just click that one. So you got this virtual machine IP address and virtual machine IP address. Let's see from here, virtual machines. So in the backend pool, what you're saying, this is the virtual network. Okay, and if you think, we can draw some pictures. Okay, so what we have created, let's see which one is our shadow. What is shadow? So this, let's take this one. Okay, so we have a virtual net. Okay, so let's where is text? It is a text. No, this is a text maybe. I'm just trying to figure out a text box. I guess this didn't go like over here, what I really wanted. So understand, this is the virtual network, the whole thing. Okay, maybe we can do something like this. So in here we have created 3 subnets. Okay, so here they should be included inside. So 1, and you can copy paste, 2, copy paste, 3. So we know that we have 3 different so we have a web, we have an app subnet, we have a web server subnet, and I think we have a database subnet. So that's what we have, and we have 2 virtual machines. They're deployed. So we haven't really closely paid any much attention to where they're exactly deployed, but our load balancer is also deployed in this virtual network somewhere. And what we are seeing in the backend pool, we have 2 different virtual machines that are running. Okay, that's what we're trying to configure. So here you click add, and there are only 2 virtual machines. I think if you look at it, these virtual machines are part of our availability set. And notice this, you can only attach virtual machines that are in the same location and in the same virtual network as the load balancer. So you cannot go and get another virtual machine that is hosted in a West US or something like that. You cannot do that. But we can add these 2 machines because they're all in the same virtual network, same region, so we can add those. So we have that. Let's see. So next you just have to click on add, so that will create your backend pool. So let's see. So here it is possible that IP address of virtual machines are assigned in the reversed order. Okay, there's back on the AC backend pool, click on the health probes. So over here I don't need to do anything, just say click add. So this deployment is now submitted. It will just go through some stuff, and it will be done in few minutes. And once that's done, we'll go back to the main blade and do some more stuff. And what are we gonna do next? We are look at the health probe. So first is a backend probe that we have configured, and we said, okay, this load balancer is gonna balance traffic between those 2 virtual machines. How are they gonna control the traffic is going to be based on some health probes. So that's how the load balancer will determine whether your resource, which resource is healthy and which resource is not. So next we're gonna add the health probe, and I'm gonna call it a particular name. Okay, let's go here. Still getting deployed, so let's pause and be back in a second. Alright, it looks like that deployment is now done. So backend pool, you see that we have one backend pool is now configured. If you want to get rid of it, you can click on delete. If you look at it again, how you configure, you can go there. This is the name we have provided. We are using the same virtual network. We are using IPv4, and we have assigned 2 virtual machines, and which are coming from an availability set. Okay. So let's go back. So backend pool we have configured. Health probe is the next thing that we're going to configure. So click on add, and let's add the health probe that we're going to use with the load balancer. Okay, so TCP is good. Port 80 is HTTP traffic interval 5. And unhealthy threshold is 2. So these are all seems like the default. So let's say okay. Again, it's creating the probe, and it will just take a couple minutes to do it. So let's go back and see what is going on. So this is gonna finish up our health probe. So once that's done, you also need a load balancing rules. Okay, so if you come back over here, so we have configured, so this is already done. So next we're going to come to load balancing rule. Right now I don't have any. Okay, so now click on the load balancing rules. Okay, so this is going to be the name of the load balancing rule. Okay, IPv4 version is fine. Front end IP address, select the public IP address assigned to the load balance front end from the drop down list. So this is load balancer front end, so that is fine, that is already selected. TCP 8080 TCP port, backend port is also 80. Backend pool is what? Backend pool, BE pool, 2 virtual machines, BE pool, 2 virtual machines. Health probe we have already defined. So your load balancing rules requires that you gotta have a backend pool defined and a health pool. Okay, so it will look at the health probe, and it's going to distribute traffic to the backend pool. Okay, now session persistence is an important aspect of it. Right now we're just going to say no, we don't have to worry about sessions. So if a user was using one of the VMs and something happened, he goes to the next one, he may have to re-log in, because we are not going to persist the session of that person. Okay, so session per none is good. Idle timeout is 4 minutes that's the default, so that's also good. Let's see, then floating IP, direct server return is disabled. So let's go here, that's also disabled. Okay, and is there anything else? No, I think is all good. So you can say now okay. So kind of think about the workflow that you are doing. Okay, so we started with the backend pool. So let's create a new page. New page. So the workflow we did is kind of like we created a backend pool. Okay, and then what did we do? We created health probe, and now at the end we are creating load balancing rules. Okay, now the backend pool we have assigned 2 VMs, and they're part of the availability set. Okay, so that's kind of where we are right now. So this is now done. So we have done backend pool, health probe, load balancing, front-end IP configuration. We have already done that when we were deploying, and it's automatically created a front-end IP address to us. So we have actually done all 4 of them. Now next you gotta define inbound NAT rules. Okay, so this is very structured how you are defining your load balancer. So let's see. So for the NAT rule, network address translation. So here click on add. So you put the NAT rule, name AZ something VM0 RDP. Front end IP is what you need for, so drop, there's only one. IP version service, what kind of service we need. Service is RDP service, so RDP. So RDP has to be TCP protocol, and 33890 is the port you're gonna use. Why did you say 33890, buddy? That is interesting. So I'm gonna use this, whatever it's telling me. It's possible they're mapping this port from outside to inside 3389. I do not know that. So let's try and see if this really works. So we have got that. Then target virtual machine. So we are going to go to VM0. Okay, then network IP configuration is ipconfig 1. Port mapping, there is a port mapping. It's I think you gotta use custom. And then floating IP, I don't think we need, and target IP is what is going to be 3389, sorry, 3389. So that kind of makes sense. Okay, so here, so again, so we are adding really a NAT rule where when we are trying to get to the load balancer, so we're really trying to connect to one of those machines, and target virtual machine is VM0, and this is coming as the port, but it will be mapped to 3389. Okay, then just hit add. So it should be adding that particular rule, and on that we need to add another rule for the other VM. Okay, and we're going to configure the same way. We're going to use the port 33891. That's going to be the only difference. So add this NAT rule, name is probably going to be another unit to, we are referring to VM1 instead of VM0 this time. IP address, still this load balancer, service, what did we do? Service is RDP. They all look good. Port 33891 is where we would send the traffic. Target virtual machine is going to be the VM1. Network IP configuration is this. Port mapping is custom, and target port is going to be 3389. Okay, so that all looks good. So now hit OK. So this deployment is in progress. So what you can do now in the Azure portal, what we want to do, we want to we want to go to the load balancer blade and note the value of the public IP address. So over here, this is the load balancer. Go to overview blade, public IP address. So copy that one and put it some place so that we can reuse if we need to. Alright, so we got that. And on the lab computer, start Microsoft Edge, and this is this. So let's just go to that IP address and try to go to that machine and see we have the Windows server now displayed. So the IP address where I went to is not the IP address of any particular virtual machine. So I went to really the IP address of the load balancer. Okay, so now where are we? I don't know from this view. Verify that you presented with the Internet Information Service welcome page. That's real. Yeah, we are on the lab computer. So what they're saying, this I cannot run because I'm not using the RDP client. So what we can do, let's see, let's maybe use this. Let's see the public IP address. So let's provide the public IP address and then do 33890. Okay, and then hit enter. So if I do that, look, it's taking me to AZ300801 VM0, the first virtual machine. Okay, so that's good. That's what we kind of wanted. So this is the only thing that's different because I'm using a Linux machine. I'm using a different RDP client. For you, you can just open up your command prompt and just just type this command. So I'm going to use student and password to log in to that particular server. So let's see if that works. So student and where's my password? That's the password that I have. Let's get the password as well. So let's put it here, and I'm gonna say okay. So that should start the installation. That should start the login procedure. Sorry about the noise in the background. So we are in the VM0 machine as of right now. Within the remote desktop session, switch to local server and view the server manager window to verify you are connected to. So there's nothing to verify really. So the server manager is going to come up in a minute, and just go to local computer and make sure your name is right, AZ300801 VM0. Yeah, we are connected to the right VM. Okay, switch to the right, start and open box follows. So now they're asking to go to the other IP, so we can also do that. Let's just, I need a new window. Instead of going to 90, I'm going to go to 91, and look, it's going to the VM1, and you can prove that from here as well. You just say okay. I think your password is still stored there, so just get the username one more time, and we should be able to log into this machine as well. Okay, so connecting, and there we go. So we are logging in. Okay. So we are over here. So we have made sure that we can connect to these machines. So what next we need to do? We need to start the Windows PowerShell session and run the following command. So we can do that maybe from here. PowerShell, and there we go. So invoke, it's saying that it's 52.142.31 48. Let's see what we have. Huh, interesting. So even from within, it gave me this particular IP address. That's very interesting. Okay, so refute output of the command with IP address entry matches the public IP address you identified earlier in this tab. It does. Leave the remote desktop session open. You will use them in the next exercise. That is very interesting. That this command IP info is not giving us the private IP address. It's just giving me the IP address of the load balancer. Okay, now configure outbound static NAT traffic by using Azure Load Balancer Standard. So in this we have three different tasks. Deploy Azure VMs into an existing Azure network by using Azure Resource Manager. Create the Azure Standard Load Balancer and configure outbound SNAT rules, and test outbound rules of Azure Standard Load Balancer. Okay, so we're gonna go there. So this time we're gonna pick up the other two JSON files and we are going to deploy them real quick. So let's we are exercise task 1, so let's go back over here. I'm gonna go there, all files here, module 3, I think where we are, and we need this time the JSON 2. We need the parameter file as well. Okay, we got both of the files. So let's come back to the lab. Not all files now this time. And I think it's all files. No, instructions. Yeah, so we are still working on this. We have done all of that stuff, so we are here, we are right there. Okay, so we need to upload those two files and create this command pretty much. Okay, so let's come back over here, reconnect your Cloud Shell, and as soon as you do that, you create upload 802 parameters and upload. That's a deployment file, so I got both in there. So now I can run, which is gonna create some additional stuff for me. And again, remember, when you pass the template file, you do dash template dash file. When you pass parameters, you do dash parameters, but when you're passing the file, you always append it with the @ symbol. That's kind of interesting, so you should remember that. So as we have that under our build, the deployment is going on. So here we are going to create another load balancer, and that load balancer is going to be configured with the outbound SNAT rules. Let's see, so here to do that we have to run this command, and we'll get the location, and we're gonna create the AC network LB load balancer create. We're gonna pass some parameters, and then we'll create the outbound rule. Okay, then again the similar way we're gonna create the backend pool, then other help that you have, they can still continue using them. Okay, let's go back and see this deployment. So this is just done, so that's very good. So just say paste. So let's see, we have done this. So next is this one, And this one, what we're going to create, we're going to create a public IP address first. Maybe this is the one, but I'm just going to double check and copy and paste this command. So in this one, I want to create a public IP address in the same resource group, and this is going to be the public IP address of standard SKU. Okay, so that doesn't take much time at all. And this one, we're going to create Azure Load Balancer using this command. So paste, that's all good. Hit enter. So now it's running, it's creating the load balancer. Okay, and then it's gonna show me what you have in a table format. And from here, once this is done, we're going to add a outbound rule. So if you think about it, in our last exercise, we configured a front IP, backend, health probe, load balancing. We didn't really use too much of inbound rule or outbound rule. This time, we are going to use the outbound rules to figure out the effectiveness of our load balancer. Alright, let's see if the deployment is done. It looks like it is, so we can go to the resource one more time. So you see that we just deployed so many resources in here, okay, by now. Okay, let's see here, and I'm gonna expand this some more, and let's come back here. So this is the one that we still need to run. And if this does not refresh very quickly, just refresh the whole thing, and it sometimes takes a little bit of time. So I'm just gonna close it, refresh the whole thing one more time, and reopen my cloud pane, okay, or cloud shell. My command. So now I can run this command. So this is going to create the outbound rule, and all the things that we did using the UI, we are really doing it using the Azure CLI this time. So over here, once that's done, again you're gonna click on the backend pool, and in this one, what we're gonna say, we're gonna use the backend pool that we have created earlier. We're going to use that one as the backend pool. Let's make sure that this other one is done. Okay, so this is done. So now we are going to go back to AZ802 blade. So we have to be very careful. So now we gotta go back to this. This is a separate load balancer. We gotta go to that blade, and from that blade we're gonna go to backend pools, and we're gonna click this. So backend pools, we're gonna click this, and anything else that we need to probably add the virtual machines. Okay, so here we're gonna add the virtual machine. We're gonna choose 802 VM0, 802 VM1. Oh, virtual network 801. Virtual network 801. Okay, that's good. And then add. So these two are also part of a different availability set, so we are going to choose those. Then say save, and again we need to verify the outbound rule took effect in the Azure portal. Note the public IP address entry. So let's let it get done. In 1 second we're gonna take a look at that. Alright, it looks like the deployment is now successful. So we are adding another backend, another load balancer. In this load balancer, what we just created a backend pool, and in this backend pool we have two other virtual machines, okay, and they're part of a different availability set. Okay, so let's go back over here, and to verify the outbound connection, what we need to do in the Azure portal, we gotta go back to this blade and get the IP address. So from overview blade, you can get again the IP address of this machine. You can save it if you like again. So we got that on the computer of the remote desktop session of the first VM. So let's see if I still have it. It's here. So from here we are going to run the command. So from here I can just get the PowerShell and run this command from a PowerShell in session. So that's now it's gonna create the RDP session to the other machine most likely. So you're gonna use the student as the password, student as the username, and our super secret password is this, and then hit OK. Yes. So it's from this particular machine we are establishing another RDP to another machine. That's all we are doing right now. And within this particular machine, we are going to invoke another invoke REST method for the public IP address, and we're going to make sure that IP address matches with the public IP address of the network that we have identified earlier. So here, good. So again, I'm just going to do a PowerShell. Come on. So we're going to invoke the same command. And we're going to just look at the output. So it's 55, 224, 248, 43. So, and if you look at it, 55, 52, 254, 248, 53. So this is the address of the load balancer, and that's what you are getting even inside this machine, and that is what is expected. So at this time we have completed all of the labs, and we should be getting rid of the resources we created. So over here we're gonna paste the command, and this command shows you the resource group that's been used for this lab, and then you just need to run another command to tell Azure that hey, we're done with the lab, now you can get rid of all the resources. Alright, so that was introduction to load balancer. So again, think about what we did and think about certain criteria like your virtual machines. They have to be in the same resource group within the same virtual network, and how the overall flow, how you define your load balancing and load balancing rules. Just kind of think of those just a little and be familiar. If you're preparing for the exam, good luck. If you like the video, just give me a thumbs up. Leave your comments please if you don't mind, and share the video. If you're studying, good luck.